I'm going to be, we're in. Well, hello, hello, hello. It is your girl, Shonda Ray, and we are back tonight with Boss Talk. Because why? It is Wednesday, and y'all know that's Boss Talk Day. So I hope that you all are out there enjoying an amazing hump day. It is the middle of the week. Y'all, I look so forward to the middle of the week because it makes me know that the weekend is on its way. So, it's been a busy week for me. So out there, let me know how your week has been. What's been going on for you out there this week? Where are you joining us from? I want to hear from you. So, let's see. What is going on for me this week? Well, one thing is I am busy working on an event that I'm excited about and that we are having at the end of this month, April 30th. It's called Dating from the Soul. And so if you were with us last week, you got to meet my two co-presenters, Gwendolyn Goodman and Chantel Denise. And let me tell you, ladies, please get these tickets and be in the house. It is going to be so exciting. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about dating from a place of knowing, owning, loving, and accepting yourself. That's the first step in dating because that helps you to hone in on your picker and know that your picker is in good shape. Because let's face it, ladies, we have all had a broken picker at some time or another in our lives. And that's no shade to the brothers out there because all that means is that everybody is not for everybody, but there is somebody for everybody. And so it's important that you date from a place of knowing who you are, what you need, what works for you, what does not work for you, from knowing how to set healthy boundaries, respectful boundaries, and how to give as much as you receive in a relationship. So, ladies, tune in. Single or in a relationship and you want a deeper connection, you're still dating that man and you want to get closer as you work on sort of solidifying that relationship, you need to be in the room too. We're going to have prizes for the best dating experience and the absolute worst dating experience. We're going to get to know one another through icebreakers, and we're going to just really keep it real and talk, ladies. That's what we really need. But just so you know, we are also going to hear from some of the gentlemen out there. So we will have a panel of men who will come in and talk about what their experiences have been in dating. And ladies, let's face it, you know, you've been doing some stuff that wasn't all right as well. And just know how I think it's good for us to understand how our actions impact those gentlemen out there. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see who's on tonight. Mr. William Seals, hello. Welcome back, Boss Talk. Thank you. And thank you for being such a great and recurring visitor or part of the family, actually. Jessica, hello, darling. Love the glasses. Thank you. You know, these are my signature. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm so glad to have you all here tonight. And before I bring on my guests, I want to switch topics. So just know, Dating from the Soul, April 30th. If you are not single and ready to mingle, then tell your sisters or your lady friends who are single and ready to mingle so that they can go to livinglovedhealing.org and register. Tickets are available. And it's getting close to time, so I'm getting so excited. But what I want to switch reels about is what I put in the show notes How do you live beyond survival mode? Have you all been in that space where no matter what you do, you still feel like you're just surviving and not thriving? Well, tonight, that's the conversation that we are going to have, because my guest tonight, that's what she does. That's what she is committed to as a licensed marriage family therapist out here in these streets. She is doing great work. And I think it's important that we know that we can live beyond survival, especially sometimes as people of color. We are feeling like we're always on that hamster wheel trying to make it work. And there's an obstacle here, there's an obstacle there, here an obstacle, there an obstacle, everywhere an obstacle. And we don't have to live like that. There are ways that you can find peace in the midst of the storm, find peace in the midst of the transition, whatever it is. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So if you have ever felt like you were not fulfilled, even if you were killing the game, even if you were out there really making some stuff happen in these streets, yet you were still feeling in some way empty inside, you're in the right place, because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And it's going to be amazing. So let me tell you about my guest tonight. Her name is Melissa Shepard Williams, and she serves as a clinician at the California Institute of the Arts and an adjunct. She's also adjunct faculty at the School of Cultural and Family Psychology at Pacific Oaks College. Pacific Oaks College, what in the world? And within private practice, through speaking engagements, she has served audiences such as the Los Angeles Police Department psychologists, Writers Guild of America, UCLA Human Resource students, Los Angeles County African American employees, and Latino Behavioral Health Institute Conference. Her community service includes work as vice president of the International Society of Black Latinos, an organization that endeavors to expand knowledge about Latinos in the African diaspora. Among the experiences in her practice is engaging individuals in cultivating or reconnecting with their agency to thrive in personal and professional environments, especially following burnout. This work is supported by cultural and historical contexts, such as that a fuller story helps in creating new tools to move beyond surviving. Training in trauma studies within the African American, Afro-Latinx, and Latinx communities adds to her offerings in listening with empathy. As a native from Panama with roots in the Caribbean, she speaks Spanish fluently, which serves well in many therapy sessions. Her book, titled Living Deliciously, Recipes to Welcome Joy into Our Lives, is a compilation of her newsletters, including exercises and reflections on how to squeeze the juice out of life. The latest book, From Burnout to Bliss, adds to her creation of learning tools for preventing and emerging from a sense of being stuck professionally and personally. So, Boss Talkers, without another word from me, please welcome Melissa Shepard Williams.
Hi, this is so wonderful. Thank you so much for inviting me, Sean. I'm really glad to be here and looking forward to this chat.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you. And I love the work that you're doing. And I love when I ran across it, I was like, oh no, we have got to talk and connect. And I have to get her on the show.
My pleasure.
I'm excited. So how did we meet? We actually have never laid eyes on one another or been able to hug one another.
It's coming.
Because it's coming. It absolutely is coming. So, as many of you know, I'm very active in the San Fernando Valley, California Association of Marriage Family Therapists, and I'm the founder of their diversity committee. So, I'm always in an effort to increase the diversity in the chapter. And along with Tiffany Young, who is the current chairwoman of the committee, I was thinking of ways that I could reach out to therapists of color and invite them to become a part of San Fernando Valley Camp and to join us on the diversity committee. And I was on Psychology Today, And I choose people a lot by their face. Now,
Hmm.
Melissa happens to be beautiful, but that is
Oh,
not what
thank
it
you.
was. It was not just that beauty. There was something in the eyes, something in the
Hmm.
spirit, something in it. When I read about the work that you were doing and read your Psychology Today profile, I was like, I need to know her. And so I called. And I'm not sure, I think I left a message and you returned the call, which is
Yes,
another bonus and a plus because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't call back. But when you called back, we connected instantly, and it was a definite connection. And we said that we would definitely be able to connect again and do some work together. And I look so forward to that. So I am so
absolutely.
excited.
Me
Yeah,
too. Me too. No accidents. Oh no.
absolutely,
Oh no.
absolutely. And then I think our offices are right down the road from one another too. So
Yes. Yes. I remember when you called, you said, I can't believe your office is so close and we have not met.
exactly, exactly. So we must
Yes.
meet at one of these wonderful little restaurants out here for lunch or something really soon.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So Melissa, I always like to ask my guests when they come on Boss Talk, how did you connect with the profession that you're in now?
Well, I should tell you, it's a combination of what I witnessed my mom's work to be, her life's work. My mom, for decades, served as a Montessori teacher, and she's a teacher at heart. And one of my aunts is a psychiatrist, and I
Uh-huh.
would listen to the things she would describe about her work, and I had an opportunity to go to her different workplaces, and I started sneaking her books as a kid.
I love it.
And that really was a strong influence in my attraction to learning about behavior, about growth, and healing. And then
Mm,
my mom's work definitely played a strong role because, for one thing, of course, I experienced Montessori as a child, and Maria Montessori was a psychiatrist. So a lot of this work is very connected to the things that we learn about psychology. And so to watch my mom's work over the years, those things really had a powerful impact in my
mm.
interest. So that's how
I,
it started.
wow. And how long have you been a licensed marriage family therapist?
Well, as of April 1st, just a little while ago,
Okay.
22 years.
Wow,
Look at the
22
way time
years.
flies.
I love that. I love that. Wow. That is
Yes.
so great. And now
Mhm.
where did you work leading up to private practice? Because how long have you been in private practice?
I've been in private practice. This year will make it 19 years.
Wow. So you
And speaking of CAMFT, the organization that we have in common, because there was a time when I was a part of the organization because of CAMFT and how wonderfully supportive they are of all members. That's how I found my first private practice office
I
because
love
of the
it.
networking that happens there. And
Yes.
I am still very closely connected to those colleagues who at that time were there to help me figure out how to start.
I bet you I know one of them.
Probably.
I'm going to guess Anita Avidian.
No.
No? Okay. Okay.
Andrew Greif.
Oh, I've heard that
Andrew
name.
Greif.
I have heard
Hmm.
that name. Now, I
Hmm.
actually, camp is where I knew that private practice was a real thing,
Hmm.
and that people were thriving and in doing it and working for themselves and making
Yes.
a good living and all of that. And I didn't know at the time that I was going through all of my internships and collecting those 3,000 hours.
Those
I didn't realize
3,000 hours.
3,000. Woo, baby. I
Yes.
didn't realize at the time that private practice was an option to even do that. And I remember
I wish
sitting,
I had known.
me too. I sat next to this guy at a camp meeting, and I was like, well, how is it how are you in private practice? You can't make any money like that. And he said, oh yeah, well, I make $54 an hour. I was like, what? Because there I was working for nonprofit agency making $25 an hour. I was like, wait a
My
minute, I did
goodness.
something way wrong.
My goodness. Well, I was
Yeah,
working at a community-based agency during the time I was accumulating these 3,000 hours. And, I didn't know, like you, that private practice was a way of accumulating them. Sean, I went past the 3,000 hours. That's how entrenched I
oh
was. And, and that's when the burnout was happening. And
girl,
camp supported me in this leap into
that's
private practice.
oh, I am so glad that you're saying that. So if you're out there, any of my board members, you heard that firsthand right here. I love that. I love that. I actually started attending the meetings when I was still a trainee.
Mm.
And, it made me feel like a big girl, you know, being there, learning so much. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm so thrilled to be a part of it in the way that I am. I don't know if you know this. Last year I was the vice president of programs, and
Wonderful.
we have you on the board for September, I think. Is that
Yes.
right? Yes, yes,
September. I'm looking forward to it.
yes, yes. So Melissa will be presenting for us in September, but this year I'm president elect. So
Beautiful.
in 2024, I will be their first Black president. Like Obama.
Yes. I love it.
And I love that. I love that. Yes, I actually love the commitment to diversity that they have taken on, not only in San Fernando Valley, but throughout the camp chapters.
Yes.
As a result of that, I do a training called "What Every Therapist Needs to Know About Black Folks and Other People of Color," and
Yes.
I
Beautiful.
have been able to present for San Diego chapter, the Inland Empire chapter, twice, Riverside,
Mm.
LA, and there's one more that I can't think of. And then I have the distinct honor and pleasure of going up north to do an all-day version of the same training
Excellent.
in June. Yeah, with the
Excellent.
Santa Rosa.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations. And Sean, this work is so timely.
Oh yes.
So timely. I mean,
Hmm.
you and I could go so deeply into why it's timely.
Oh, don't you know? Oh, don't you know? So,
Yes.
so let's talk about a bit more about what you do specifically in your practice, because I feel like
Okay.
we all have niches in our practice. So, what is your niche?
My niche is to work with people who have recognized that they're experiencing burnout,
Hmm.
and they are needing support because we cannot do this in isolation. They're needing support in recovering from burnout
Hmm.
so that they can reconnect with what they have inside to thrive,
Hmm.
to live out loud,
Yes.
and really squeeze the juices out of life rather than living in the stuckness that burnout is.
Go wait, say that again, because that juice part, I just love it.
Woo!
I get such a visual when I think of living the juice out of life. That is a beautiful
Yes.
analogy. I love that.
Juice out of life. I mean, we're
Hmm.
not we're not here to just exist,
That's so right.
and unfortunately, I would even say tragically, burnout stunts aliveness,
Yes,
very
indeed.
much like trauma does. And
That's right.
these things are intertwined.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What would you say is the can you make a distinction between like vicarious trauma and burnout?
You know, I find that these things can coexist. One can be part of what prompts burnout,
Mm, I
particularly
like
when you think about those of us who are in helping professions, and I don't mean only psychotherapists, but the wide range of helping
Yes.
professions. We get to, because we signed up for it, be in the presence of a lot of pain. And while we are trained to be in the presence of a lot of pain, in our humanness, we're impacted. And really, the day that we stop being impacted, we need to consider stopping this career. We need to be moved, but moved in a way that pays attention to our wellness so that we can be fully present for someone. Still, the repetitive experience of being in the presence of somebody else's trauma can really prompt trauma in us if we're not
Yeah,
careful.
that's
If we're
right.
not careful, and the more that happens, particularly for those of us who may experience it daily, depending on the population we work with, this is the kind of thing that can set the tone for burnout. It's not
Mm.
the only road to burnout, but it definitely can set the tone for it.
I definitely believe that.
Mhm.
And I like that distinction that one can set up the other. So if we're living in a space of vicarious trauma, and for those of you who might not know the terminology, it's secondary trauma. It is that you know how we always talk about parents living vicariously through their children. It means that you are
Mhm.
living in their experiences and taking them on as your own, and letting that be, the juice of your own life. And so with vicarious trauma, it is that you are impacted by the trauma that you are connected to, that you are engaging with. And so for us as therapists, that's the clients that may come in, and for you as lay people, that those are family members who might have experienced something. If you're a parent and a child experiences something traumatic, if you're a spouse and your spouse experiences something traumatic and you're living through that, it's vicarious
Mhm.
trauma, which doing, trying to manage all of that can cause the burnout. So I really like that distinction. Thank you for that. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
was looking for.
yeah, yeah.
So how do how do you how do you help people in that space move to a different space?
It's such a layered process.
Hmm.
And I am learning while engaged in it that, the first thing to acknowledge is the power of pausing. The
Ooh.
power of pausing so that we can reconnect. Because one of the key things about burnout is the loss of perspective,
Ooh.
disconnection.
Yes.
Disconnection. So, in order to reconnect, there needs to first be a pause. And uh, because we are social beings, it's so important to feel seen. I have a dear colleague. Oh my gosh, Sean, I would love for you to meet her. Her name is Dr. Makisha Lawrence. And one of the things that she says so frequently, and it truly is inspired by that African proverb, Ubuntu, I am because we are.
Yeah.
She loves to say, we all need our lives to be witnessed.
Yes. I
So,
like
ooh,
it.
right?
It
Well,
is so good.
part of that first step in the healing of burnout is the pause to recognize the disconnection and the witnessing,
Yes.
being witnessed.
Yes.
Yes.
So true. And it goes so, because I can see that in so many layers, and like you said, in so many different areas in our lives where we need to be seen, we need to be heard in our relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a platonic friendship, whether it is a mother-daughter, or mother or a child-parent
Yes.
relationship. It's
Yes.
important that that child feel seen, because it validates us, it boosts us, and it
Yes.
also it kind of makes you sit up a little straight, when you feel like you've been seen and heard. And
Yes.
so when I love that, and then say it in African. What is the proverb again?
Ubuntu, I am because we are.
Ubuntu. Oh, I love it.
Ubuntu, yes.
Because we are.
Hmm.
Yes, I love that. Thank you. And I love what you said about the power of pausing. I think I need to let that sink in a little bit. As a woman on the move, I gotta always
Right?
I always need to take that in, that there
Yeah.
is power in just being still. In
Yes.
just being still.
Especially considering that, in the burnout existence, we tend to be moving robotically through life.
Anyway,
And so there's no pausing there.
there's no pausing. And then you know what? And all the time that we're doing all this movement, we're thinking, I'm getting so much done. Oh, I'm getting this. And you are not. You are really robotically, mechanically moving through spaces. And therein is that lack of fulfillment that I talk about.
Yes,
You're hanging
yes.
on this thread and you're dangling in the wind, and nothing is nothing. Nothing means
Mm-mm.
anything. There's no
No
joy.
soul.
Yes. Ooh,
There's
girl.
no soul in that. There's no soul.
Yes.
I mean, that's when you hear people talking about, oh, this soul killing job, or this soul draining this, or this
Yes.
soul draining relate. It's because we've disconnected from, what lives inside. That's just
Yes.
that natural impulse to thrive is
Mm.
is 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 choked during the time that we are burnt out. And so pausing is the first step.
Yes.
Pausing. And that pausing can be really uh, frightening,
Mm-hmm.
particularly for those who have, for as long as they have known themselves, they just go, 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 go. So pausing is foreign. You know how the pandemic made people pause, and that
Yes.
that pause was hard to tolerate for
Okay.
many.
Well, and yes, absolutely. And it impacted people in so many different ways, because people were like relationships, the divorce rate went up, even the domestic violence
Yes.
rate went up during that
Yeah.
pandemic, because people did not know what to do with themselves. I, on the other hand, am one who goes like I'm at the starting light when the gun goes at the starting line when the gun goes out. That's how I go most often. But
Uh-huh.
I learned during that pandemic, I learned to drink in the nothingness. I fell
Mm.
in love with sitting. And
Mm.
I really did. And for a long time, I had been, since 2018, I had been practicing mindfulness in this kind of movement type of way. But during the pandemic, I was actually able to really connect with what it
Yes.
meant to be still,
Yes.
to be
To be
present,
still.
even, and to drink in the richness that was just rest.
Oh, I
You
love that. Drink in the richness that is rest. I need to write this down, Sean.
know,
Me and my food metaphors. I love that
I
one.
love it. Oh yeah, we're right there together on that. I love it. I love words that just dance.
Ooh, drink in the richness that is rest. Yes.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
a lot of people, especially the people in marginalized communities, had
Hmm.
a very difficult time with this concept of rest because we have inherited from one generation to the next this narrative that says rest,
What's
that's a
that?
luxury. That What
What
are
is
you
it that
talking
they say?
about?
I'll rest when I die. Have you heard
Yes.
it?
Oh
Yes.
yes. And
So often.
there's so many sayings that, while they are intended to support a community, move down messages that are not healthy. I'll
That's
rest
right.
when I die.
Mhm.
Well, if we don't rest now, we can't maximize what we bring to the table.
That's right.
We
And you
work
might
from
die
a
sooner than you
we
want
work
to.
from a depleted place,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So
I'm
for
so glad
us,
you said that about the inheriting, because Alan, hello, brother Alan. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I love you. He says, can we experience vicarious burnout from our parents or grandparents' struggle? And I think that's exactly
woo,
what you were just starting to talk about. So let's
Yes.
take that a step further. I love it.
Okay. Let's
Yes,
jump
Ellen, you
in.
always bring the good stuff. So, vicarious trauma, we talked about that. Intergenerational trauma,
Trauma.
post
Yes.
slavery syndrome.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. I mean, well,
Yes.
if there's any population that is prone to burnout, is the population of marginalized communities.
Absolutely.
We have been living in survival mode for centuries.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And because we've been in that mode, which includes not talking about your pain, but just going, right?
Mm,
Disconnection.
recycling.
Then exactly recycling. And so generations inherit this pain, don't know that they're carrying it, but their choices in life are fully influenced by that.
Mm,
And so we are drawn to situations, and people are also drawn to us because of this narrative we share in common. And
yes.
so when we don't pause long enough to catch a panoramic view of all these factors influencing the situation, then we continue moving it forward.
Yes. That is so true. And perpetuating all that we don't want, all that does not serve
Right,
us as individuals and as a community.
right.
Hello, Zelma, my sister. Thanks for tuning in. She says, enlightening and brimming with help. These times, this info couldn't be more important and timely. I must leave and we'll be back.
We'll be here.
Thank you, my sister. We will be right here. I love that that we can talk about this because I often find that there are, how do I want to say this? There are situations that might happen that I become privy to, right? You learn of something that happened to some young black man or woman or child, and the
Yes.
community is like, well, you know, not very forgiving, not very loving, not very empathetic to the situations that people may find themselves in.
Yeah.
And though we cannot promote negative behavior, I so understand it now in such a
Mhm.
way that grieves my spirit. It really
Yes.
does, because when you
Yes.
see these things
Yes.
happening and you see, especially with young people, then you from this perspective, it looks very different. It looks more like I want to grab them and rock them when they were not rocked as a child. I want to
Yes.
them when they were hungry as a child. And all of that informs how we show up in this world as adults and as now the people who pay taxes and who are, thrive and adding to the thriving communities in which we live. And what ends up happening is our communities do not thrive in the way that they could, based on who we really are as a people,
Right.
the brilliance that comes from the African diaspora and
Yes.
the,
Yes.
so yeah, wow.
Yes. 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 Thankfully, the pandemic, from my humble point of view, has served as a magnifying lens for all these things that are not problematic just now. They have been for centuries.
Yes.
So it's not that these things are happening more. It's
Right.
just that they're now more visible. They are
Yes.
now more visible. And because they're now more visible and we're talking more about healing, about inherited pain,
Yes.
then thankfully, I'm sure that you're seeing this because we hear it among colleagues. Thankfully, our people are allowing this type of support to be
Yes.
part of their lives. You
Yes.
know, therapists are overloaded right now. Let's be careful
Hello.
with burnout, but we are overloaded because more people are reaching out because this taboo about therapy is being dismantled.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
This is not the only form
Look
of
at this.
support.
These are all callbacks.
See? Yes.
Callbacks. I kid you
Yes.
not. It's
Yes.
yeah, it is really
Yes.
something.
And
And I
also in reaching out to people who've already been doing the work, even if they haven't involved therapy in their healing, but just because we need community to heal. The
yes.
other African proverb, it takes a village.
Yes, there you go.
It takes a village.
Yes, absolutely. It does. And I am so
Mhm.
glad that the village is out there and working these days. The village
Yes.
is alive and well. And
Yes.
that is so true. And I think the more that we talk about it, the more perspectives that are thrown into the ring that we can choose from
Yes.
and bounce off of one another and come up with some solutions and some tools and interventions and all of those things and just
Yes.
awareness, because I
Yes.
think that we don't, sometimes we don't act because we don't know.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
part. That
Yeah,
part. We
that part
don't
right
because we don't know. Yeah, yes. So
there.
awareness is such a key. I mean, it's like water for soup, you
Yes.
know? Awareness is like water for soup. And so from that place we make more informed choices. I mean, that sounds very much like what you were sharing when describing the workshop that you will be presenting in April. Awareness.
Hmm.
Awareness is the key ingredient here. You know, when we
Absolutely.
become more deeply aware of how delicious our
Ooh,
heritage is and how powerful we are, then we stop wasting energy looking for the oppressor's acceptance because
mm,
we accept ourselves. We can stand powerfully grounded.
yes,
And
Melissa.
then we start investing energy. We don't waste it anymore.
Exactly. Oh, I
We
love
all need to heal. We all need to heal because the oppressor has its own set of pains. They're not oppressors by accident.
right. Hello.
We all need to heal, you know, but we are now going to use our energy to help each other heal rather than waste it begging for acceptance, buying into the stories we've been told about
Yes.
um, being less than. There's no space for that.
None.
No more space for that
I,
when there's awareness.
that's right. That is so true.
Mhm.
Because it's like you don't if we sat and just had these more of these conversations, more with young people, more with children, babies, the little teeny ones, to start them off believing in the
Yes.
power that is just in their rich heritage.
Come
It's
on.
unstoppable.
Tell it.
Unstoppable.
Tell it.
Hey, Soror Martha, thanks for tuning in. She says, interesting discussion. I am finding so many connections spiritually and in my profession as an educator. Glad to be present. Absolutely. And thank you for the work that you do. I know that I always feel better knowing that people like you, like Soror Rhonda, and other, and who else? Soror Veronica, that are out there educating these young minds. It's so imperative that we have more and more of that. And I think that, you know, definitely, well, for me, I saw my way in to that following the loss of my husband. I
Mm,
have created a nonprofit, and it is called the William Joseph Brinkley Center for Cultural Affirmation, because I
mm,
believe it's imperative that we affirm ourselves culturally. We cannot wait for others to recognize our greatness and then
mm.
turn on that light. No, we have to claim it. We have to own it. We have to be it. And
Yes.
so I want to help young people who are just coming up and are at that malleable stage where we can help them learn how amazing they are. And
Hmm.
I want to help the older ones who didn't get that and
Right.
who are working in spaces where they don't get that. And so we want to do therapy. We're going to do all kinds of programming,
Beautiful.
arts and music and all the beautiful things that represent who we really are as a people.
Yes.
and reminding us of that.
That's fantastic. The earlier the better. Time is of the essence.
Yes,
And I'm thankful to also hear you include in this healing process people from earlier generations, as long as you're alive,
that's right.
you know.
That's right.
Why not? Why
Yes,
not? Why not?
keep growing, keep living. I love it.
Yes,
I love
yes,
it. So, Melissa, I know that you have been sharing some of your work through your authorship. So,
yes,
I love the title of that first. I think is this your first one, "Living Deliciously."
yes,
Say the rest for us.
yes. Living Deliciously is a compilation of monthly newsletters, and a lot of it includes a lot of the flavor of the West Indian wisdom that I grew up uh, living and hearing from my mom, from my grandmother, all these Caribbean pieces of wisdom for sure inform a lot of what happens in those newsletters. But uh, it all started as a project to be only presented as an ebook. But
Mm,
then some friends shared, well, some folks like to hold a book. And
right.
so then it became a project of, making it a printed version. And in that process, uh, the book became uh, more involved because now it has exercises, suggested resources called
Mm.
suggested recipes,
Oh, I
to
like it.
keep with the food metaphor.
Right.
Uh, at the time, I was writing the book about burnout, and I had pressed pause only because I wanted to share something as an ebook, and then that turned into the
The
first book.
main book. I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
That is
So
so great.
later came the burnout book.
Okay, okay. So how long
Mhm.
did it take you to write either one of the books? Because I'm just trying to understand the writing process.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one that I shared first, Living Deliciously, because it was a compilation of newsletters, I went years back to the
Mm-hmm.
ones that had been already written, plus the current one. So that possibly was 3 years worth of material that then got more layered in the process of making it a printed book because I added more things to it on top of what the newsletters contain. The Burnout book, uh, I would say 3 to 4 because the process was I was going to say interrupted, but things happen for a reason. I pressed pause
Okay.
to give energy to living deliciously. And look at how interestingly things happen because uh, the year before the pandemic is when that book got published. Who
Mm,
knew that something global was going to include people living through burnout?
wow. Look at that.
I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Who
Yeah.
knew?
I want to bring attention to this. I love how you reframed that. And of course, as a therapist, we're always talking about reframing.
Yes.
Uh, because we need to do that, and we need to help
Mhm.
others learn how to do that because words are powerful. But I love that you
Yes.
said, I forget how you were about to phrase it, but you
Mm.
said that you pressed pause on it as opposed
Yes.
to what
Interrupted.
interrupted, right?
Mhm.
Because interrupted takes away your own agency of that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And allowing it to be your choice. You chose to press pause.
Yes.
And
Very
and
important.
and and that was only because it was that time. It was that time that you were supposed to press pause for
Yes.
such a time as this. And that's what I think I want to also drink that in, like the beauty of choice in our own lives rather than
Yes.
letting life happen to us,
Mm-hmm.
choosing
Mm-hmm.
how that goes down,
Yes.
even in the things that you have no control over, even in the things that hurt, like mm, really bad,
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
you get to choose how you walk through those dark spaces. And I
Yeah.
think the languaging around it is so important, because I have a client who says to me all the time, I feel like I'm being delusional when I say when I say that. If I tell her to reframe something or say it in a positive way, I
Yeah.
used to make her slurp it back in the negative words, slurp that in and replace that with a positive. And she says, I'm not, I don't know. I just feel like I'm delusional if I say that. And it's like, you're only delusional because you don't believe it. If you
Mm.
believe it, you are speaking the truth. It won't
Yeah.
feel delusional to you. And
Yeah.
besides which, people who are delusional, they believe that stuff. So,
Right?
so why
Yeah.
not? Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're so right. And I think of it as a lifelong practice,
It is.
to be very um, intentional in
Mm,
our choice of words, and allowing uh, ourselves the space, the time to think through what we're going to say, how we're going to say it, why we're going to say it, and also when we're going to say it.
mm, that part.
You
Right.
know, so
Yes.
so again, awareness, and we are not easily able to connect with it without
Mm,
pausing to reflect, so that we can um, act and speak from a place of consciousness.
yeah. Ooh, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Consciousness. I think that, even again with the words, because consciousness means so much, and it means so much more when you think of it in opposition, living
Yes.
consciously versus
Mhm.
not living consciously. You are living unconsciously, which means you are not present at all when you are
Exactly.
unconscious.
Exactly.
So I like to look at the opposite of something to get the richness of what the meaning actually is, like that, what it really is thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
it's
it's like when we think of the experience of trauma, uh, the experience of burnout. It's like sleepwalking through life. There's no full consciousness, just mere survival,
yes,
mere survival.
yes,
And
absolutely.
so healing really uh, is the process of thawing out that frozen state of pain.
Ooh, I love that. Thawing out that frozen state of
Of
pain.
pain.
Y'all, Melissa is just dropping it tonight. I love
Oh,
that. I love that.
we're inspiring each other.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Ah, Sorotary is here. Sorotary said, God knew. Yes, I love
Wow. Yes.
yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. He always knows. And I wanted that brings me to something too that we thought about, because we spoke about earlier, and in the pausing, right? Because I've had so many opportunities to pause that I didn't take.
Mm.
And so God was like, sis, look, baby girl, let me get
Uh-huh.
your attention.
Like,
And he put me down.
yeah,
Put
I
me down.
hear you.
Didn't take me out, but put me down so
I
that I
hear
could
you.
reflect. And I can say with full confidence and truth that each time I have come back stronger and better in the midst of whatever that pause was. If that pause was back surgery, if that pause was whatever it was, you
Yes.
know, it has been the opportunity to regroup and recalibrate. And so,
Yes. Yes. And
well,
that's one of the things with burnout, because we're so um distracted, disconnected, we can't hear the body saying, "Hey, hey,
yes.
you notice what's happening?" And so because we can't hear it, then eventually the body gets louder through illness. And so
Hmm.
rather than pausing, we're brought to a screeching halt, right?
That's all
Uh,
right.
Now,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
the quarantine wasn't a screeching halt, I don't know what is.
Okay. Yes. And you know how we all thought that this was like just a little momentary interruption,
Hmm. Three
right?
years later.
Yeah, hello. I have clients that I recall, and we laugh about this sometimes. Those clients that said in the very beginning when you said, hey, we're going to go virtual and I can still see you. And they were like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. This will be over in 2 weeks. I'll call you at the end of 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks came, and the third week is there, like the fourth week. And then they were like, hello,
Yes,
Shonda
I
Ray.
know. Yes,
And so,
yes,
yes.
yes.
William says, this is rich and spiritual. Well, thank
Uh,
you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. 100%. So I want to ask you, so this is very nuanced work that you do. It's very particular, at the same time as being very all encompassing, because there's a lot that goes into helping people to come
Mm,
from a place of burnout and being stuck and being entrenched in being unfulfilled and
yeah,
empty and all of those things that come along with the burnout. What
yeah,
are some things that you can give to the boss talkers tonight? Some sort of tips on how to know it's coming. Can you ward it off, hit it off at the pass?
yeah.
How can you give us some tips about like when to know that it's time to take a look and see about this burnout thing if that's you?
I think I'm glad that you bring this up because part of the work is also to support people in preventing it,
Mm,
you know, and red flags that say, burnout is probably unfolding includes uh, getting sick frequently, for example,
mm-hmm,
um, especially when thinking about work or approaching the workplace, for example, irritability,
mm-hmm.
difficulty or resistance to change,
Ooh.
definitely in the workspace. There is, you know, getting sick frequently. Your immune system is assaulted by the excessive work that you're doing mentally. So, neurologically speaking, your body is under attack.
Mm.
Under attack. Your relationships are suffering because of that irritability I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And these are just a few hints. And you may say, well, wait a minute, some of that sounds like depression.
Mhm.
Well, they're very similar, yes, and they
Mm.
can coexist. They
That
can
is,
coexist.
I
And
love that.
it was an interesting experience for me to learn about it because I lived I experienced burnout. I was crispy. I experienced it. And in this process of uh, figuring out what to do, how to uh, transform the quality of my life, um, thankfully, teachers became visible to
Mm.
me. That's the pause.
Yeah.
Teachers became visible. And then I started learning about the burnout experiences of other people, and these things informed the writing of the book. So the book is not just about what happened to me specifically, but what other people have experienced, what they've shared was helpful in their healing. It also includes a variety of findings about the experience of burnout from a scientific point of view.
Mm.
And definitely the hopefulness that comes with knowing that our brain is plastic and that we can transform our brain at any age
Yeah.
and the experience of connecting with our bodies because all of these things are stored in the body. It's like
Mm.
the body is like a walking filing cabinet.
Yes. Oh,
Everything we've experienced, whether we're conscious or unconscious of it, the body knows it. Burnout
yeah.
is not the exception.
I love
So
that.
so the thing here is the lesson here is listen to your body more deeply. That's one of the key
Mm.
lessons here.
Yes. Oh, I love that because there are always those telltale signs.
Yes.
And
The
it and
body's always talking.
Yes, and we have to listen closely too, because when we're approaching that burnout state, we can't
Mm-hmm.
hear as well,
Can't
right?
hear it.
The body could be screaming, and we're like,
Why do I have a migraine? Why does
yes,
my back hurt?
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Why is my
Insomnia,
stomach?
all these things.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I fall asleep the minute I sit down, Shauna Ray? Uh, you know, all of
I used to have a migraine on my way to work.
wow.
Yes, my
Hmm.
hair was falling.
Wow.
I had chest pains.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I know once I thought I was having a whole full on heart attack. And I laughed only because they got there and they were like, well, are you having anxiety? I'm like, I don't have anxiety. I'm a therapist.
And yet, therapists are people too.
Yes, indeed. And I was having full on panic attack. I had no idea.
Hmm.
And I'm really grateful for that because it opened up a whole new understanding for me with respect to my clients, who, because I never understood that. I was like, now how are you just going, can't even breathe over here because you're thinking about whatever, this, that, or the other.
Right?
And God was like, oh, tap tap.
Yeah.
Want you to
Yeah.
understand this. And
Yeah.
so it is so very real. The body is an amazing, amazing mechanism. And
Yes.
the way that it is so in tune, even when
Yes.
we are not,
Yes. The
even when
body, the body is, you know, the
see,
body is genius.
yes, yes. I love this from Own It. If healing is thawing out the frozen state of pain, I'll say pausing is the refreshing drink to quench burnout.
Woo!
Might be that might be the quote of the night right there.
I
I
love it.
am loving, loving, loving that. That is
I love it.
awesome. Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
So, Melissa, I promise I'll share these with you as
I
you go to watch
love it.
play and copy and paste these off into our little.
This is
I
beautiful. And
love
you know, this what's happening right now. This is what healing looks, sounds, and feels like. We stimulate each other's creativity,
it.
reconnect with playfulness.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
All
Yeah.
that stuff is gone when you're in pain.
Absolutely.
Mhm,
Absolutely. It's like, when you
mhm.
were a kid and you didn't feel well, you didn't go out to play.
Well, you know what? You check this out, Sean. During my burnout experience, I and there's such a thing as excess dancing.
Oh, no, I
I
know.
I was out dancing every single weekend, sometimes more than one time a week. You would find Melissa at every festival. Like I wrote in the book, where's Waldo? It was where's Melissa. I
I
would
love
I would I would be at multiple festivals, but this was me trying to reconnect with aliveness. Dancing is such an important part of my life. You know, I grew up in Panama. This is like
where they
it's like
dance on the
breathing.
street. Yes.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was a dancing fool, but there needed to be more than that in the
Mm,
healing process.
yes. And that
There
speaks to
needed to
us.
be more.
What I said, you're out there killing the game, but you still, it's not fulfilling you. There's something still missing.
Hmm.
You and I hear a lot of stories of people who speak that way about connecting with God. That they were, all the things they were popping on all cylinders. They were killing it at the job. They were getting promotions. They were getting awards. They were getting this, that, and the other. But something felt empty,
Yes, yes,
and we cannot
yes.
fill our souls up with stuff, y'all. We cannot do it. It does not
No,
work.
no. And then there's the difference between excessive busyness that is painful, the kind that brings burnout,
Yeah.
versus joyful busyness, the
Yes.
kind that is carefully orchestrated so that you still honor your wellness.
Yes,
That's a different version of being busy. That's a
absolutely.
very different version of it. You know,
Absolutely.
and sometimes we're filling our lives as a way of ignoring other pains.
Mm, yes. And that's where and for me too, that is where the pause has to happen because I am just busy. Period. I have to check in. Is
It's
this
noise.
this or is this that? Right?
Hmm.
So is it because is this am I moving like a freight train because I am loving and living life? Or am I moving like a freight train hoping that I can beat the stuff that's coming chasing behind me that I'm trying to get away from dealing with, feeling
Tell it.
that? And
Tell it.
I know the two, and I have to assure my friends because they're always
Yeah.
like, girl, what are you doing? You do too much, you're too busy. And I have
Hmm.
to let them know, no, 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 I'm loving life right now. I'm good.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
good. And
Yeah.
I appreciate the check-ins. I
Yes. Me too.
appreciate the check-in
Me
because
too.
there might be those times when I'm running and I'm trying to get away.
Me
And so,
too.
that's why
Yeah.
that's the village again, right, Melissa? You have
Exactly.
to use that village.
And I appreciate the check-ins like you because, especially when people know that you've experienced burnout, they're like, Melissa, what is
Yeah.
this? Is this are you okay? And I
Yeah.
appreciate it. It says love,
Yes.
and I find myself reassuring friends and family about the version of busyness that I am experiencing. When my husband, if he could hear this now, when I say, "Ooh, I have an idea," he's like, "Uh-oh." I love a project, Sean. I love a
Oh, girl.
project. I
Listen,
love a
everyone
project.
says that when I say I have an idea.
He says, I have 6 pots on a 4 burner stove.
See, that's why we're kindred. I'm telling you, Melissa, 100%. That is
Ay, ay, ay.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, when I think about like another way to tell whether it's the thriving and living life on full tilt boogie kind of busy
Oh, I
or
love that. Full tilt boogie.
yes, yes, that's how I live my life. It's in my bio.
I love it.
So another way is how I respond when those friends check in. Am I like,
Hmm.
eh, attitude, jumping off attitude, or am I reassuring? No, thank
Yes.
you for checking in. I am good. I am just doing my thing, and I promise you, I do get my rest.
Yes.
I'm thinking of this because I'm being reminded of those differences and how I show up like that. Sometimes I can show up all mad and attitude not going like this because I'm trying to convince not just you but me
Me. Hmm.
that I am not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Melissa, we
I
love this here. The body is a walking storing cabinet. Listen to your body more deeply. Yes, I love
yes.
that.
Yes. We need to so that we can really maximize what we bring to the table. I mean, we need to listen to the body to see if there's any adjustments that we need to make in life. What is the purpose of this level of activity? Am I
Mm,
confusing productivity with something else? Why do I think that I have to do this much? Who told me that this is productivity? Is it
yes,
quantity or quality?
yes.
And am I filling up my life with this level of activity so that I can ignore things that need my attention?
Mm,
What is the intention behind these choices?
yes. And am I doing this because I feel like on my own I'm not enough?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes,
these are the kinds of questions, and I find that there's such an opportunity for learning, definitely for us therapists, because even though there's a teaching element in the therapy experience, my goodness, we get to grow while we're supporting someone's healing journey.
yes.
And in these conversations, what often comes up is, Uh, let's remember that we don't have to have a tidy answer to all the questions. We don't
Ooh,
have to. Sometimes it's just enough to notice new questions and just sit
mm,
with them, you
yes,
know? And and
yes.
and that's another way of using or benefiting from the pause. Let me
Hmm.
sit with this. I don't have to have an answer, but wow, I hadn't thought of that question.
Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love that so much. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, I know that you are also a speaker. So, what kind of speaking and presentations do you have anything coming up? Do you speak for different organizations? Because this is an opportunity for you to give a shameless plug. Go right ahead.
Okay. I do get an opportunity to serve through speaking engagements, and the main focus tends to be wellness in the workplace, given that we have this ongoing reflection about burnout.
Mm,
And the other part of my private practice is consulting.
hmm.
So I am available for consulting with artists because so much of my work is with artists every single day of my life. So
Love-
I am available to serve as a consultant in these experiences of art making, where it could be of help to get a clinical perspective on a topic. I've had this experience with choreographers. I've had it with writers. I would love to do more of this, and so it's part of my consulting practice.
Oh, I love that.
And also consulting with other clinicians because we need each other.
Mm,
We need to have a sounding board for each other because we take in a lot.
oh boy.
We take in a lot. And
Yes,
so it's
yes.
important to have peer consulting groups. So this is something that's also available. And I'm starting a new group in May. It's going to be a closed group, so a specific amount of therapists, and we're going to meet once monthly. And it's going to have 6 month cycles.
Oh, I love that.
I also, I already do this, provide one on one consultation with therapists because this is one of the things that helps us um, move out the stuff that we take
Mm,
in this work. It
yes,
helps us not feel isolated, especially people that are only in private practice.
right.
It's a way of preventing burnout, to have a sounding board with
Mm,
another clinician.
yes, I love all of that. Well, you
Yeah.
all heard all of the things that Melissa is doing. And if you are a clinician, you can go to her website, which I'm going to put up in just a moment, and learn more about that consulting group. I'll be there. I love
Beautiful.
I love that. And some of the other things that she's doing. And if you need someone to come and talk about burnout and how to live deliciously, then I invite you to also go to the website and book a consultation with Melissa to talk about booking her for your events, because
Thank
you
you.
can see
Thank you.
how
Thank you.
eloquent she is and how gentle her spirit is. I love
Oh,
your voice is so calming.
thank you.
Girls Like Me Global said a lifelong practice of being intentional with what we are going to say, how we are going to say it, and when we are going to say it, to show up and speak consciously. The peace is here also present. Is the peace here is so present, ladies. Ah, thank you. Yes, and see, I just said how calming your voice is. I
Thank
love
you.
that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you for sharing. And here is where you can reach Melissa at website. Just click that link, Boss Talkers, and it'll take you directly to her. And I love your website too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
So,
you for sharing it. There's something else I would like to share with our community listening, especially because you and I have in common a passion for learning more
Mm,
about what has impacted people in our communities, and that creates mental health challenges. And we're here trying to help people uh,
mhm.
find their thriving juice.
Yes. Ooh, I like it.
So just to uh, give our listeners a scoop on something you and I talked about before, the experience of being a person of color in different environments where people are not sure what to make of us.
Yes,
And
indeed. Yes,
so, because I am from Panama, and some people even think you're from Panama, and they wouldn't be far fetched. It wouldn't be far fetched. The idea that this African diaspora uh, happened for a reason.
mm-hmm.
There's a history to learn about. And
Yes.
so I am a proud member of an organization called International Society of Black Latinos. The
Mm-hmm.
president of the organization is Juanita Palacios Sims, Cuban Colombian. I serve as vice president in a diverse board. And the intention here is to teach not only the immediate community, but uh, the world about the history of the Afro Latinx community and the
Mm-hmm.
influence that we have had, along with the rest of the diaspora, in the advancement of humanity.
Yes,
We
indeed.
do this through workshops, and we have beautiful events. So, a website to definitely visit is blacklatinos.org.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Now, Melissa, uh,
Yes.
the I just had this great idea. This is all very personal, but I am doing the presentation that I spoke about, and I would love to maybe interview you as part of the all day presentation that I'm going to do, because I think that it's so important if we are going to talk about people of color, period, to get that
Yes.
Black Latino experience and understanding. And we talked, as you said pre-show, we were talking about just how
Yes.
ignorant we are, and
Yes.
so amongst ourselves
Yes.
in one another's experiences. And I
Right.
think that more understanding of that would draw a closer relationship and stop some of this black brown infighting and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, we are all on the same plantation at the end of the day, y'all. It
Thank
is
you.
like,
Agreed.
it is
Agreed.
all, and so I appreciate that. And I want you to know more about the work that the organization is doing. uh,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
yes.
Beautiful. I agree completely, and it will be my pleasure and honor to join you. And because both of us have served as faculty in the Cultural Family Psychology
Yes.
Department of Pacific Coast College, we
Yes,
know
we
how
know for
important it
sure.
is
And not
to
only
be
that, we taught
talking
the
about
same,
this.
yes, and we taught the same class.
Yes.
That is so great. And
Yes.
listen, I just have to camp on that for a moment, because you all out here in these streets, in these therapy streets, the world is so small,
So
and we have
small.
to take advantage of that. I think that I said this the other day at some event, I can't remember. Oh, the Black Women's Network meeting that I attended on Saturday. And shout out to our membership committee. It was a beautiful meeting. Shout out to Susan Jackson, who was our member highlight, who is also an MFT, who
Ah,
it needs to get those hours. So we're talking. She's going to come and perhaps be working with us here at Living Loved. And so excited about that. But one of the things that I shared is that my coach used to say, and you all, boss Sarkos, you've heard this here, collaboration crushes competition.
amen.
And so we're out here doing some of the same things in our own way. And I just want to say that we have to just stop worrying about what somebody else is doing. They ain't doing it like you. Y'all need to get
Exactly.
do what you do together. And so
Exactly.
I so appreciate that. And here we have found, in my picking up the phone and loving her kind face and calling, we ended up finding that we have taught at the same college, the same subject in the same program. So Come on. That
Come
means
on.
that we are destined to do great things together. And
Come
I
on.
love that so much.
I look
Love that.
forward, I look forward to what beautiful collaboration could happen here.
Yes.
Because, the same spirit of helpfulness is there.
Hmm.
And I stand with you in what you just shared about collaboration and competition. Competition is an illusion.
Oh,
We all are unique, and so nobody can be a better you than you.
thank you. Thank you. I promise. I promise. Right?
Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love
Yes.
it. So this is the organization blacklatinos.com, international organization of Black Latinos. Go on there, check it out, learn, see what they have going on their website, see if there's some events that you can go to and
Yes.
learn more, know more, do more. I like, and I think I'm going to end that with be more.
Oh, I
Yes,
love that.
I
I
like
love
that.
that. I love that.
Somebody write that down because I forget.
Be
Uh,
more. Be more. That's what we're here for. Listen, flowers are not trying to slightly bloom. Be
that's
more.
okay. Thank
Be
you.
more.
And in
Come
saying
on
that,
now.
this is the year of the great bloom, I think it's being called, where all of the
Oh, yes.
flowers that are because of all this rain that I have so ungraciously
I
hated,
know.
uh,
I know. I
has
know.
brought
I know.
about this beautiful blooming of flowers that have
Yes.
gone crazy. And if you get a
Yes.
chance, that you can look them up in Palmdale, I think, or Lancaster. There
Lancaster.
is it Lancaster. They're the most
Mhm.
beautiful orange poppies, and they have just
Beautiful.
taken over out there, and they are stunning,
Beautiful. Yeah,
stunning.
nature's out there singing.
Yes, singing loudly. I love it. I love it. So listen, y'all, you can connect with me, as you well know, at livinglovehealing.org. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen who love their ladies, all of them, your sisters, your friends, your mamas, please send them to Dating Forum from the Soul. That is April 30th. That is a Sunday. We are going to be there all day and we are going to have a great time. You will walk away with gems that you will take from all three of us presenters. We're gonna get some gems from you. We're going to give you some tools how to thrive as you are and to date from that space of your own wellness. There is
Beautiful.
no complete me. This is I'm complete, you're complete, and together we are 200%. We said that last week
I
when we
love
were here.
it.
So please remember that. If you go to the website, the event will pop right up. Thank you, Chantel Denise. The event will pop right up on the front page and you can register there. For those of you who are not in Cali and outside of Los Angeles County, we are going to allow you to attend virtually. So go get information about that on the website as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh,
Yes,
wow. That
yes,
sounds like it's going to be so good.
yes, yes. Dating from that soul. And we were
Yes.
soul, and the soul is the essence of who we are.
Mm.
Isn't that awesome? So I love that. So you can go right there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find it at, let me see, what is it? I know it's here somewhere. Well, oh, here we go. Oops, that's too much. My Instagram and Facebook are the same. So you can follow me there. And are you on Instagram?
I am.
Oh, well, let's know what that is.
I am. So
Ah,
it's at Melissa Shepherd Williams.
got it. We got that. That is perfect. I actually took a sip of that water and I cheated. Let me do better. Hold on. Lou, WC, Well Connected Water from my friend Lucian Nehemiah of Well Connected Gear and Well Connected Entertainment. He now has Well Connected Water and it is delicious. And I buy only Well Connected here at Living Love. So y'all look him up and get you a case of water.
Beautiful.
Support Black business.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Recycle Black dollars. All of that.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
All of that.
Yes.
Yes. So you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Living Loved Healing. And you can find Melissa on Instagram at Living at Melissa, not at Living Loved Healing, no, at Melissa Shepherd Williams.
Yes.
So, Melissa, I always ask my guests to leave the boss talkers with one final thought.
Hmm. One final thought. One of the things that I like to reflect on very much and try to make it my guided intention
Mm,
is
I love that.
uh, the hope that our choices honor both our wellness and that of others.
Mm, that
You
our
know,
choices honor both
honor our wellness
our
and
wellness
that of others.
and that of others. Ooh, I like that. That's rich. Nice. Nice. Well, Melissa, thank you so much. This has been so fun as I knew it would be.
I
You
knew
are
it.
amazing, and thank you so much for all the amazing things that you do in the world and the amazingness that you present while doing it.
Thank
And
you. Likewise.
and yes, and thank you for all the gems that you left for the Boss Talkers. Boss Talkers, show some love to Melissa in the chat. And remember where you can connect with her. And you can save this chat. Well, the chat will be on YouTube and on. We're only on YouTube and Facebook today, but we're going to share this over to LinkedIn because they were having some connection issues tonight. So we are not live on LinkedIn, but we will put the replay on LinkedIn. So please go out and we just ask you to share some of the gems that you've received here tonight. Share about Boss Talk, and tell your people who we are and where they can find us, so that we continue to grow. Because I am honored to have such amazing guests on weekly, like Melissa and others. So like, follow, subscribe, and share tonight's episode, as well as join us here every week, Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Time, and 9 o'clock on that East Coast. And anywhere else, do the math. We're here. So thank you for all of my regulars out there: William, Terry, let's see who else, Alan, all of you regular Boss Talkers, Girls Like Me Global, own it. I just appreciate seeing you guys here weekly. It warms my soul. And Soror Martha, thank you for tuning in tonight. We hope to see you again soon. Zelma, hope you made it back, sis, but I know that you are already on sharing the information about dating from the soul, because we talked about it at
Mhm.
the party. So for those of you, please remember, tell your lady friends about dating from the soul, whether they are here in California or whether they are virtual, because we're going to bring them all together, and it's going to be a hoot, and it's going to be an opportunity to love, learn, and grow. So we love that. So with all that being said, it is your girl Sean LaRae tuning out again for Boss Talk, and y'all know what to do. Live loved, and shalom, y'all. Peace. Good night.